Hey, Mike here with Mike's Bags, and today I'm reviewing the Shelter by Vortex Bags. This is the first set of bags I've gotten from Vortex, so I didn't know what to expect. So let's go ahead and dive in and break this bag down. Start real quick with the design. It's a pretty basic design. It's similar to when I talk about like Reynolds Fire, where they put they really highlight their company name, its branding. They're branding Vortex. You can see Vortex very clearly what it is. The models are down here, and the designs are pretty consistent across their different models. They just change this. Sometimes they change the different colors or a little bit of the background designs. This one does come in different colorways if you don't like this, but pretty basic. Not awful, but nothing to really wow you on that. They do have some pro player. Some of their pro players, they have special design releases for them as well, and they may do some special releases throughout the year. But for the basics, this is your standard bag you're seeing from Vortex. These are ACO Pro Stamp for 2023. Material-wise, slow side. This is that surefire slow side. Most of you have probably thrown it, probably have bags with it. It's a very popular material. Pretty much every bag maker out there has at least one bag with this material on there, and for good reason. It's a wonderful material. It's great for normal to fast boards, dry conditions, plays awesome. The big knock for this is humidity. When the boards get damp and moisture from humidity, it starts to become, it really doesn't become, it is unplayable at that point. Once you get that moisture on, then this material just absorbs that moisture and just sticks and stops. It makes great blockers, but you can't ever push it. So 5-speed, I don't mention 5-speed on the slow side. Fast side, this is that Pro Sniper Deadhead fast side. I talk about this. Both these materials are very popular materials. I talk about it a lot. Crazy fast, slides up any board conditions, pushes through anything. So you got a 5-speed slow, 9-speed fast. For those of you who are familiar with Lucky Bags, you've got the Surefire slow paired with the Pro Sniper fast. It's the same fast side material as the Surefire. It's just flipped over. It's a reverse side of it. So kind of the similar Surefire material is just a reverse on the fast, the same on the slow side here. Template wise, this is probably more of a medium template bag, but I'm going to call it a larger template because it's a very thin bag. Very thin. It's not a lot of fill, so it's a ton of flop. It just feels like a larger, floppier bag. In fact, it reminds me, my favorite Surefires that I have are these 2021 stand-up bags, older bags, really nice, floppy. I love these bags. This Shelter reminds me a ton of this. The amount of flop, the fill, it's got that same flat disc fill that Lucky uses in their Surefires and the Pro Snipers. So you got that flat disc fill. You've got a nice floppy bag here. So it just gives me so much. It reminds me so much of these, which are my favorite Surefires. It also reminds me of the Typhoons. When Reynolds first released the Typhoons, I absolutely love that bag. It was one of my favorite. I threw that for a long time. Very similar to the feel of that bag, template and flop. That one had a little bit of a bead fill. This has that disc fill in there. I haven't thrown the 2023 Surefires or Typhoons. I don't know if they've changed the templates on that, but this is reminiscent of those older bags that I liked when they were floppier. Now, because it is floppier, your hand feel, if you like a fuller hand feel, you're not getting that here. You get the smooth fluidness of that disc, but you're not getting that fuller hand feel. Not a big deal. Like I use a butterfly grip, so I can still lock the bag down pretty good. Not a big deal. But if you have more of a standard grip, you're going to have a ton of flop on this bag. Right? It's really hard to kind of lock that bag down and take that flop out of it. So just be aware. Some people don't like the bags flopping and moving when they throw them, and I just want to make sure you're aware of that. Now, playability on this bag. This is really a bag designed for just running bags in the hole. That's where it shines. That's where you're gonna get the best playability out of this. You can take this slow side and you can throw blockers with it, right? You can slow it down, you can control it, and you can put blockers on the board pretty easily. It's not hard to do. The problem with that is collecting the bags. Because these bags are so floppy, big and floppy, when you go to collect, and I've talked about this before, a fuller bag, you can just clip the corner to corner and take it in. Because these are so floppy, what they do is they just almost accordion up. They bunch up, they accordion up, and your push bag ends up bullying the blocker bag out of the way. And then maybe this goes in. Sometimes you bully it out, it kicks this off, this goes off, and then you've got two bags sitting out. Now you've lost 4 points. You're trying to collect yours, and you're sacrificing and losing 4 points. So it's not wonderful for collecting. Now, if you are going to throw a blocker, you can throw it. You got to throw it more in the middle. You can't get aggressive and throw that blocker on your opponent. Because if you get that blocker on your opponent's side, you're going to have a hard time. It's almost impossible. I mean, you can come across, because this material is cuttable. You can come across with a cut and maybe take a couple bags to collect it and pull it in. If it's on your side and on the side, it's a little easier to collect. I find when it's on my opponent's side across, I go across the board. If I'm coming my side across, I can collect it easier. If I'm coming across the board, it's really tough to get the collect bag to cut enough to grab it and pull it back in. It's really difficult to do. But if you're depends on your opponent and your opponent's style. It means maybe you want to get aggressive, put a blocker over there and hope they push it for you and collect it and just sacrifice that bag. You can do that. But if you throw that blocker more in the middle, you can definitely come through. You just got to collect more in the middle of the bag. You got to come fairly square with the collect bag to push it and take it through. Now, this material is wonderful for pushing or replace. If you want to go slow side, push, replace, flip it over, collect at the end. You can do that. But where I find this bag shines and where I love to do it, where I love to play these bags is when I have an opponent who has a slower style bag. Like they pull out a Combat or an OG2 or something with that really sticky carpet, and they're going to play more of a dirty style game. Or I know they're a rollback thrower. You know, they've got a Viking or a Wizard or something like that, and I know they're going to throw blockers up and they're going to play the roll game. I don't want to play that dirty style game if that's what they excel at, right? I want a bag that I can get around their bags in really easily, and that's where a bag like this comes in, right? If they throw that sticky bag up their blocker, I take advantage of that accordionist, right? And I throw my bag, I even made them step out and come into their bag, right? Come right into their bag, accordion up, bully their bag out of the way, put mine in, and hopefully move their bag over, or at least leave it there, right? Make them do the work to collect it. That's where this bag shines, is getting around the bags, not going through the bags. The other thing I like about these bags and the floppiness of this bag, and I talk about it from time to time about the landing zone you have, right? That rectangular shaped box you have to land your bag in to put it in the hole. When you get a floppier bag like this, that box widens up and you get a little bit wider zone. So all you have to do is get this corner of the bag, one side, the right or left side, whatever you do it, just to dip in that hole as it goes by. It'll spin around and pull that bag back in for you. Now, another knock on this slow material, surefire material, is it does have a tendency to want to hang on the hole. So if you don't have enough speed going up there and it catches and spins, and once it stops, if it stops on that back edge or the back corners, it's tough to collect, right? It's especially with this flat disc feel, it just wants to settle. It's going to stay there. It's really hard to collect. You're going to have to get pretty aggressive and try to come with an airmail drag or something to clip it and hope you can pull it in. If it's on the side of the board, you can come with a little bit of a cut and kind of catch and pull it in that way from time to time. I will say when you're doing that, be careful because, again, floppy bags, they're going to bunch. They're going to bunch and they're going to hang there. They're not going to clog. They're not full enough to clog. So if they do bunch, as long as it's not your last bag, you can take your next bag and come over slick side and bump into them and at least get two of them to fall, maybe even fall in with it. Or if you got your bags bunched up there, sometimes a bunch is a great defense, right? If I've got a bag hanging on my opponent's side and I come over and I bunch up on their side of the hole, whichever side they're on, now they have a hard time getting around me and they run the risk of knocking my bags and leaving their bag there. So it's a great strategy defensively to throw that bunch on their side. So that's not a bad thing to do from time to time. But just be aware when you're collecting it, you gotta be a little careful about that. The other thing on this material is it does kick. Now, because this bag is not full, I didn't have as much of a kick as I would have on, say, like a Titan Venom, a little bit fuller bag like that with this material where it does want to kick a little more. I didn't have that issue. It still has a little bit of a kick, but because it's floppier and it has that disc feel, it does land a little softer, a little truer. So even if you're not a flat bag thrower, but you like this material, this won't punish you as much as some of the fuller bags will. Now, the kick does lead to the cutability. I mentioned the cut. You can cut this material somewhat. This is not a great cut bag, but you can throw some cuts if you need to get around. You're not making those really hard, sharp cuts, but you can make a little bit of an angle if a blocker's there. You just want to kind of cut around. You can do that just fine. So playability, it's really designed to me, it's designed for running bags in the hole. You're putting bags in the hole. Just trying to outscore your opponent. You're trying to keep a cleaner board on there. And it does a great job of that. Like, I really enjoyed it. Availability on this. These bags are available on Vortex's website. It's, I think it's vortex-bags.com. I'll have a link description just to be sure I got that right. But Vortex has these. They pretty much seem like they're in stock all the time, from what I can tell. They run at least the shelters run $85 for a set. Then you have to pay shipping on top of that. Not really that bad of a price. In fact, the bag prices have been kind of creeping up across the board. So for an ACL stamped bag, $85 plus shipping is actually probably on the lower end of pricing on there. So very reasonable, very affordable. The quality seems great on these. I really like these. I'm looking forward to getting some more Vortex bags to try out. So if you have a favorite Vortex bag you like, drop a comment down below. Let me know what it is. I'll know which bag to go check out next. But for as far as shelters go, if you like that surefire, slow, pro sniper fast, definitely check them out. I had a blast on them. I think you will too. Thanks so much for the support. Thanks for watching.